She knew, not because he confessed, not because someone warned her. She knew because love notices what lies try to hide. The late nights, the phone always face down. The sudden kindness that came from guilt, not care. She saw everything, and she said nothing. People thought she was blind, weak, too quiet, but silence was her strategy. While he built another life in secret, she was building strength in the open. She studied, she saved, she healed. She learned how to smile without breaking, and how to wait without losing herself. Years passed. He grew careless, confident, certain she would never leave. That was his biggest mistake. One morning, she served breakfast like always, kissed him goodbye like always, and when he came home, the house was empty. The accounts were closed, the papers were signed. No fight, no explanation, no tears left behind. Only a note. I knew, I waited. And now I choose myself. That day he lost 2 women, she lost nothing. Because she didn't wait for revenge, she waited for freedom. He searched for her. At first with anger, then with panic. He called her phone until his voice broke. Sent messages that were never answered. Apologies that came too late. For the first time, he felt what silence really meant. Weeks passed. He told people she was confused, that she would come back, that it was just a phase, but she didn't. She had moved to a place where her name was spoken with respect, not excuses. She rebuilt her life slowly, not to prove anything, but to breathe again. She learned what peace felt like, how quiet mornings could heal, how freedom didn't need permission. One evening, months later, she received a message from an unknown number. It was him. I lost everything. She stared at the screen, then smiled. Not out of pride, not out of revenge, but because she finally understood something important. She hadn't destroyed him. She had simply stopped sacrificing herself to save someone who was never saving her. She typed one last reply. You lost me a long time ago. I just stopped pretending not to notice. And with that, she turned off the phone. Some endings don't come with closure. They come with clarity. And this time, she walked away without looking back. She was wrong. Months later, on an ordinary afternoon, she ran into someone from her past, a mutual friend who looked at her with hesitation before speaking. He's not doing well, the friend said softly. He left her, the other woman. She felt nothing at first. No shock, no satisfaction, just distance. That night, she sat alone by the window, watching the city lights flicker like memories that no longer hurt. For years, she had imagined this moment, the collapse, the regret, the realization. And yet it arrived empty, because healing had already done its work. Days later, a letter arrived. Handwritten, unexpected. He wrote about regret, about loneliness, about how he finally understood what he had lost. She read every word without rushing, without trembling. Then she folded the letter and placed it in a drawer she rarely opened. Not to keep it, but to let it rest where old chapters belong. She didn't reply, not because she was cruel, but because she had learned that some people only understand your value when they no longer have access to you. Weeks turned into seasons. She traveled. She laughed loudly again. She trusted herself. One morning, as she packed for a new journey, she caught her reflection in the mirror. And for the first time in years, she recognized the woman looking back. Strong, whole, free. Some people wait years for an apology. She waited years for herself. And when she finally arrived, she never left again. She believed freedom was the final chapter, but life had one more lesson waiting. On a quiet Sunday morning, she received an invitation she didn't expect. A small gathering, an old mutual circle, people she hadn't seen since before everything broke apart. She hesitated, then she accepted, not for him, for herself. When she arrived, the room filled with familiar laughter and distant memories. And then she saw him. He looked smaller somehow. Not weaker, just undone. Their eyes met. No anger rose. No pain followed, only understanding. Later, when the noise softened and conversations faded, he approached her slowly, as if afraid of disturbing the peace she now carried so naturally. I never thought you'd look this happy, he said. She nodded. I never thought I could be. There were 1,000 things he wanted to say, 1,000 apologies waiting behind his lips. She didn't stop him. She simply didn't need them. I used to think love meant enduring, she said calmly. But now I know, love also means knowing when to leave. He lowered his eyes. That was enough. She walked away that night with steady steps, not because she was running, but because she was choosing direction. Later, alone, she realized something that made her smile. She no longer needed her story to hurt him. She needed it to heal her, and it had. Some people wait years to be chosen. She waited years to choose herself. And this time there was no sequel that could take that away. The end wasn't loud, it was peaceful. And it was hers. Peace settled in. But peace has a way of revealing truths you couldn't hear in pain. Months later, she found herself in a place she never planned to be, standing at the edge of something new. A new job, a new city, new people who knew nothing about her past. Here, no one asked what she had survived. They only saw who she was becoming. One evening, after a long day, she sat alone with a cup of tea and realized something quietly powerful. She no longer replayed old conversations. She no longer wondered why. The questions had dissolved. Then, unexpectedly, someone new entered her life. Not dramatically, not loudly, just gently. Someone who listened without fixing, who stayed without disappearing, who didn't confuse love with uncertainty. At first, she resisted. Not because she was broken, but because she was careful. She had learned that real love doesn't rush you. It waits with you, and so did he. Time passed. Trust grew slowly, like something alive and precious. No grand promises, no hidden phones, no explanations demanded, just consistency. One night, as they walked side by side under quiet streetlights, she felt something unfamiliar. Safety. Not the fragile kind, the steady kind. And in that moment, she understood the final truth of her story. The betrayal didn't destroy her. The waiting didn't weaken her. The leaving didn't end her. It clarified her. She smiled, not because life was perfect, but because it was honest. Some stories don't end with revenge. They end with renewal, and hers, it wasn't about what she endured anymore. It was about what she finally allowed herself to receive. And then came the moment she never expected to matter. One ordinary evening, while cooking dinner and laughing at nothing in particular, she paused. The room was warm, the air was calm. Her heart was steady. She realized she hadn't thought about him in weeks, not with anger, not with curiosity, not even with distance, just absence. And that was when she understood. He no longer lived in her story. Later that night, she opened the old drawer, the one where the letter had rested for so long. She took it out, read it one last time, and felt no pull, no ache, no questions rise. Only closure that didn't need words. She tore the letter slowly and let it go. Not to erase the past, but to release it. From that day on, her life unfolded in quiet, meaningful ways. Mornings filled with purpose. Conversations that felt honest. Love that didn't need to be tested to be real. She had stopped surviving. She was living. And sometimes, late at night, she would think about the woman she used to be. The one who waited, who stayed silent, who carried pain with grace because she didn't yet know she deserved more. She felt tenderness for her, because that woman was brave enough to wait, and this one was brave enough to walk forward. Some people think strength is loud. They're wrong. Strength is leaving without bitterness, healing without applause, choosing yourself when no one is watching, and that's how her story truly ended. Not with him watching her walk away, but with her never needing to look back again.